So let's start this way. Mini PCs, well, let's say not impressive, right? And I'm on the same page. But what if they were? What if there was some exciting mini PCs? So I've got three things over here. This here is an actual GPU. This over here is a mini PC, AMD. This one there is another AMD mini PC. They might be a little bit different. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a look at them, open them up, and then see what they're made of underneath the hood. So if you're planning on getting any of these or similar spec ones, you know what these are like. Let's go. It's so annoying. I don't want to pay hundreds of dollars to just change my Windows wallpaper just because my Windows isn't licensed. Well, why don't you try hookies? That's a ton cheaper. And if you use the K11 you get it even cheaper. What do you mean? How do I get it and how is it possible? Well, see this video here or the one you're watching? Click in the link on the video description, add the Windows 11 CD product to the cart, proceed to checkout, add the K11 for the extra discount. So what, the Windows 11 Pro OEM key is just $23.22? Yeah. Choose the preferred payment option and complete the purchase. The key will be available on the purchased orders in a few moments. Copy the key and paste it into your Windows activation settings and you're all done. Oh, that was easy. Is that Ryan Gosling? No. Anyway, by the way, the same discount code also works website-wide, so go check out other products, maybe like Microsoft Office. So I'm actually going to start with this one. This is not a mini PC. So this is an eGPU, ADGP1. And I'm hoping we can use it with one of these PCs here. Ooh. That is small. So we've got a little bit of an intake and fan on the top there, and then it blows it through out from this side. I think this is maybe one of the front sides. And then on the back, we have two display ports, two HDMI ports, Oculink, USB 4 and DC in. Basically like a graphics card, so there's no extra ports like USB ports or SD card slot ports, something like that. Just a tiny little external GPU. Okay, so we've got a USB 4 cable, which we're probably going to be using. Oh, it's actually Thunderbolt 4. That's an expensive cable. Very big power block. This is 240 watts. Why that powerful? This is not going to take 240 watts. And then an Oculink cable here as well. Interestingly, it's blue and then black sleeved around. Okay, power in. Interesting, there's no power buttons here. So it seems to be kind of just on, plug it in and that's it. This is the EVO-X1 32 plus 1 terabyte. So it's 32 gigabytes of RAM, model of a CPU inside. This is the Ryzen 9 AI HX 370HX. Very complicated, but this is the same. Whoa, that's small. I didn't think it was going to be that small. This is the same CPU that we had on the Asus ProArt P16, PX13, and then the Minis Forum Mini PC as well, if you remember that one. But this is so much smaller than the Minis Forum one. The question is, can it handle 65 watt TDP? Comes with a power block, 120 watts. And what is that? I suppose that's... Okay, so you can put it sideways like that, a little bracket for the bottom, HDMI cable and the power cord. So looking at the I/O, we've got power button in the front, mic and headphone combo jack, two USB type A's, probably 5 gigabits in speed, Oculink and USB 4 in the front. The Oculink, if you want to plug it in, bear in mind Oculink is not hot swappable, so you need to turn the PC off and then on, then it works. In the back, two more USB type A's, DisplayPort, HDMI port 2, 2.5 gig LANs, Kensington lock, and then DC in. The weird thing is that the USB 4 is in the front and there's only one USB 4. So if you already use that for something like this, you don't have any other USB 4 cables and you're kind of screwed. Okay, let's turn it on, see what happens. While that PC is turning on, let's take a look at this one. This is the model K11. This is also 32 gigs of RAM and 1 terabyte of SSD. This should have the Ryzen 8845HS CPU. That's a lot bigger, less powerful than the previous one. In the front, similar thing, Oculink USB 4, two USB Type A's, headphone mic combo jack. On the side, we've got some intake of air. In the back, another USB 4. So there's two on this one, which is interesting. The CPU is actually less powerful than the Ryzen 9 HX in there, but we've got better I/O. Two USB Type A display, HDMI, two 2.5 gig LAN ports, power cord, USB 4 and Kensington lock in there. You can kind of take it off, or what's the point of taking this off? I don't know. Rotate to cover lid. Why do I need to rotate this? I'm not sure. So it looks like this K11 mini PC has exactly the same charger as the previous one, 120 watts. Interestingly, if you look on the side, there is actually an RGB fan or something like that in there as well. So they've put the same fan in there and in there. Interesting. It's not configurable as far as I know, just colorful, which to me, honestly, is very annoying. Why don't we make this video? Just find as many things wrong about this product as possible. While that's loading and downloading stuff, let's open up this here. So firstly, we'll twist that. Then we can see some screws in there. Okay, well that came off easy. We've got a little fan cable in there. Okay, and that's off. Seems like they're making the fan themselves. So there is one SSD already installed, and then underneath I can actually see something very interesting as well. There's already a Bluetooth and wireless card installed, as you can see. So Wi-Fi and Bluetooth card underneath. This is P3 plus M.2 NVMe, crucial one. That's very nice. And there's a one spare slot on the side where you can install your drive. And the screw is already there ready. So all you have to do is just pop in your secondary drive and the screw is already there. Because I've seen a few mini PCs that have a spare slot, but there's no screw. This one comes with SODIMMs, 32 gigabytes installed. This is 8 data RAM already there. We've got another fan header on that side, and we don't really need to go on the other side. The other side, you will just have a heatsink, and there is actual CPU cooler all the way on the other side. I wonder if this screws on this side as well. No. So if you want to get to the cooling underneath, you're gonna have to go through this side. So you'll have to have a small, tiny screwdriver. Oh yeah, I've got this one that will go into that hole in there, and then you can unscrew that, which is a little bit odd. But honestly, not much to see here. The unboxing of this, not so interesting. Look at that. Now we can see this colorful light on the top there. So that basically cools the RAM and SSD, not the actual CPU. So let me set them up and I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so it's been a weekend and I've left these PCs on doing a few things. We've got the bigger one with the Ryzen 9 AI HX that is actually been chopping salad. So let's take a look at firstly that, like what has actually happened. So we can see that the maximum temperature has been 77, the memory has gone to 99, and the GPU hotspot on the 7600M, so this is the external GPU there, has gone to 92. Now, to me, that seems a little hot. The GPU memory junction has been 90. I mean, this is quite hot to me. If you're looking at the maximum power here that the actual GPU has been pulling, it's been 120 watts. So 120 watts in that small enclosure. That to me feels a little bit hot. It's been on over 89 hours here running. Obviously, the average temperature has been quite low because it idles right now on 48 or something like that. So when it hasn't got a big load, it's 48 degrees. So that's all right. If you're looking at the CPU now, the CPU has gone to 75 degrees. That's absolutely fine. That's no problem there. CPU cores have been 74 type of thing, and that idles a lot lower. So this GPU is completely fine. It's been on again, almost 90 hours here now. CPU power on idle. Can you see how we're pulling 4 watts? Do you remember when we did the 9950X 3D review and that desktop CPU was idling more than 10 times higher wattage than this guy here? It was like 40 watts, something like that. This here, 3 watts. So that's why it's kind of a mobile chip. But interestingly, it's only been pulling about 55 watts here maximum. It's been cooling that down completely fine, no problems in there. But then how much have we actually made through this CPU over the weekend? So I've only highlighted this on the 13th. We kind of put it on. First day, we made roughly, okay, we'll see the graph here. Maybe the table is easier to understand. On March 13, 0, March 14, 6 cents, March 15, 7 cents, March 16, 7 cents, March 17, 10 cents, March 18, 3 cents. So honestly, chopping salad, probably not the best idea with this little guy, especially with that AMD GPU installed. Which brings me to kind of the first big downside, which is I really just don't get it. If you disagree with me, please let me know in the comment section below, but this is probably the most important part of the video. Let's just think about it for a second. Who is this for? Okay, are you getting this for gaming? Okay, is that what the main thing is? This is just for gaming. Okay, if you get this for gaming, I would like to argue this is not the best way of spending the money because you still don't get the monitor and you're paying this guy here costs $900. $900. If you don't know, you can build an insane PC with a dedicated GPU with a lot better specs in the description below. Go check out the build guides. I've already explained that to you. For $900, I'm a little bit questioning what exactly is going on. You're paying for the small form factor. Is that what it is? Okay. But then the actual things about this being a PC, right, is the upgradability. And we're gonna tear this down in a minute, but this has got LPDDR5X memory, which means it's soldered on. 32 gigabytes, you're not gonna get any more, okay? So more and more questions and I'm thinking, what exactly is going on? In terms of design, I like the way it looks like. It's small, it's metal housing, it's not too bad. Some of the other usability things here. So why is the USB 4 port in the front? If you've got one, put it in the back. Oculink in the front as well. So you're gonna connect your GPU just in the front here. You know, if you have it on the table, it kind of doesn't make any sense. Why isn't it in the back where all the other like HDMI and video outputs are? It would make so much sense to be in the back. And why isn't there a second USB 4 port? Can we have another one in the back? So if we use this for our external GPU, we don't have USB-C port. That's why we're not having Kensington lock in the front as well, because it kind of doesn't make sense, okay? But it's very small and light, so kind of the good sides. So now the external GPU. This is a 7600M XT, and I've had all weekend to think about this, right? This is an AMD mobile GPU. You know, in terms of the specs of what you see online, it can kind of say that, okay, it's better than RTX 3050 in some sense for gaming. But for creators, it's kind of like not really there. Imagine if this was a 50 series GPU in there. Then we would get H.265 and 10-bit 422 playback, which would be incredible. Plugging it in, that would create an incredible video editing machine on this. In fact, I would say even having Intel Arc in here would be so much better than having this in here. So for gaming, the price point for this, I'm again like, it's a little bit expensive. You only get some video outputs in here. You don't get any like USB hubs. So it doesn't add anything extra to your desk. Let's say you do bring a laptop or something, you want to add this to your laptop. You don't get any USB ports. It doesn't add like a docking or anything. It's just like your monitors. That's it. To me, that seems like a very expensive price to pay for just extra monitors and not that much more. Looking at the temperatures, slightly hot, I would say. I'm not particularly happy with that performance. It is smaller than the other dock that we checked out. Do you remember this one? But this dock also had, you know, SD card slots. We have USB. This is like a USB hub. It just feels a lot better. Also, the power supply is kind of inside here. So you just have one cable, whereas here we have the power supply on the side, which kind of makes this, to me, just a little bit of a less of a, you know, good part. I highly recommend checking out this GPD G1 7600M XT. This to me seems like a bit better option, especially for the price point. And now let's talk about this mini PC here. Okay, we've got RGB fan in there. This is one of my first complaints. Okay, can you hear the fan? Can you hear the noise it makes? Listen to this. Whenever I put my fingers on it, the fan goes quieter. So there's a massive resonance with the design. However this goes, it's just there. Now, why do you want to take this top cover off? What's the benefit of doing this? It's actually quieter this way. If you take it off, just take it off, leave it off, just put it in the bin. You have this on, it makes noise. You take it off, it's a lot quieter. Okay, I understand that there's screws underneath and you want to somehow hide them, but you know, maybe there's a better thing. Second thing is, are people buying this for gaming? RGB, come on guys, like, are children gonna be buying this? And if it's RGB, like, can we please choose what color this is? Not have this rainbow vom in here. You can't even change it. To me, not a good design factor. I want to see the sales guys like making this choice that, oh, we've seen RGB sales a lot more, can we put the RGB in there? Come on guys, they're not really something better that we can do. We do have USB 4 and Oculink again in the front. We do have USB 4 in the back on this one as well. So I feel like, okay, this is a little bit of an improvement. And on this one, I know this is a little bit of a weaker CPU, but we do have upgradable RAM and storage on this. But what we haven't tested out is the actual Cinebench performance of the other one. Okay, so multi-core, go, and let's take a look at the CPU package. We're pulling 45, 50 watts, 54 watts. So the actual power draw of the CPU is exactly the same as on the other one. The idle, as you can see, our minimum is kind of the same, 3.7 watts. So not that much different from this mini PC. In fact, let's do a test which actually has a better CPU score. This Ryzen AI or without AI, Ryzen 8945. Okay, we put the AI9 HX370 Go in here as well. So here we're still pulling 54 watts for about 80 degrees now. It's getting a bit more toasty. Okay, CPU package power draw, now we're talking 54 watts. Again, same power draw. This is already 82 degrees. Interestingly, now it's gone down to 65 degrees, but we're still pulling 54 watts from the socket. Let's see how these 12 cores do. This 8945HS is like constantly like 81 to 82 degrees, pulls 54 watts, and the multi-core points we're gonna get is roughly about 929 points. Let's take a look. Okay, 946 points. That is slightly higher than the M4. We're gonna do the single core score as well to see how that's gonna go. Let's see how much power we're gonna pull for single core. What? Okay, at first it was 45, but now single core seems to like 22, something like that. That's gonna take a little longer. Interesting, the AI9 HX370 is actually pulling less well, it's pulling the same amount of power, 54 watts, but it's running cooler. Even though the heatsink seems to be smaller, but maybe it is deeper because it comes from underneath and pulls cool air from underneath, but it's the same on the other one. Just the bigger one makes more noise, that's the weird thing. So I've done the test now for the single and multi-core scores on both of them. And you can see that the AI chip gets 1072 points and then 117 for the single core scores. And when I compare it to the 8945HS, then there is 946 points for multi-core and 105 for the single core. So single core, we're gaining 11.4% and multi-core 13.3%. So about 10 to 15% kind of performance uplift on the AI model. But still, I'm thinking it's not particularly impressive and feels expensive to me. I want to open this up and actually see what's happening here. So this is interesting. I think these screw off. The legs are just literally little screws. I can just about do them with my hand. And then the outer shell comes off. Now, what do we do? Oh, okay. And then now there's screws on the top. Okay. Good thing is these screws don't come off, so they're captive screws. So obviously our fan that just blows air on top of this device. And you can see here, we've got the Crucial P3 Plus installed. So that's a really good NVMe storage. Gen 4 is very fast. It's a good drive. You've got a secondary slot free, which means you can upgrade the storage to secondary slot. Your Wi-Fi and Bluetooth card is just over there. You can, upgrade that. And there's no RAM upgrade. I lied, they're not captive screws. They do come off. So the RAM is actually on the other side, cooled by this heatsink as well. That's kind of like a blower style heatsink, where it takes air in and then blows out from that side. Well, a little bit on this side and then from the other side. So can you upgrade it? Yes, you definitely can, but no RAM upgrade. Okay, conclusions of conclusions. These products here kind of leave me at a little bit of a meh conclusion. Yes, in terms of hardware inside, it's quite impressive, but it's like halfway there. Some of them are kind of upgradable. The RGB fan is a little bit random. Design, I'm not a particular fan of it. This GPU, external GPU, it's fine, but again, to me, a little bit big. For the price point, not as good as I would have hoped. I feel like there's better products out there for the price. Their competitors are doing better job. So why are they pricing them so expensive? I don't know. Do you agree with me? Let me know in the comment section below. I'd love to know what you think. If for some reason you want to check out the pricing, maybe by the time I'll release the video, they're tons cheaper. Go check them out. Another few notes here. If you want to reach out, I'll always get back to my messages within 24 hours. If you want to build yourself a PC, there's PC build guides in the video description below. Any budget you have, go follow them. There's links and everything in there. Go check them out. Thanks very much, guys, for watching. I see you next time.